In the trenches, the deeper you dig, the better. The front lines in the open plains of eastern Ukraine are a zigzag of earthworks. In this area, positions have been static for a while. Oleksiy from the 1st Tank Brigade has been here for 6 months.
Каждый раз по-разному.
Sometimes it's quiet, he says, and sometimes it's loud. Sometimes they, the Russians, try to break through. So far, they haven't succeeded. Okay, you might want to get down. Okay, we are told that Russian lines are just 1 kilometer from here. We're hearing occasional shelling, but nothing coming on this position yet. This soldier, also named Oleksiy, peers through binoculars across no man's land, but only briefly to avoid drawing sniper fire.
Сначала было страшно, очень страшно.
To be honest, at first I was scared, he says, but humans can get used to everything. They're yet to get used to one threat hovering overhead. All right, we've now taken cover because the soldiers say there's a drone flying over in the area, which they tell us occasionally drop grenades on their trenches. But not this time. To the rear, Sergeant Oleg checks that his Soviet-era T-64 tanks are in good working order. It's like an old car, easy to repair, Oleg tells me. With new cars, you have to take them to the mechanic. These are like a simple tractor. But these tractors may soon be replaced by newer models. He says some of his comrades are in Poland being trained to use German-made Leopard tanks. Spring has arrived in these parts, and with it growing anticipation of a Ukrainian offensive. New, more modern weapons than these old hulks could make all the difference. Back in the trenches, all is quiet, but as we leave, a drone appears above us. Then our ride out arrives.
Coming up in
30 seconds, okay. Then artillery. No time to waste. The Ukrainians are understandably tight-lipped about when they're going to launch their spring offensive. The defense minister recently said it could be in April or June. It all depends upon when the new weapons, particularly tanks, are in place and their crews are fully trained. And that, at the moment, is still a work in progress. Aaron?
Thanks so much, Ben. And out front now, Ilya Roshashvensky, reporter for the Dossier Group, which is run by Mikhail Khodorkovsky, a Russian opposition leader. And Ilya, you spoke with an officer who fled Russia's Federal Guard service right in the middle of a foreign trip. So he's with Putin in Kazakhstan last October. These are pictures from that very trip. And then he escapes. I mean, it's an incredible story. What did he tell you about how he managed to do it?
So he had this business trip to Kazakhstan with Vladimir Putin in October. And on the last day of this trip, he decided that that's the right time. That he told his colleagues that firstly that he had some problems with his stomach and he needed to stay a little bit more in his room in hotel. After that, he told them that probably he would spend a few hours searching for shops, trying to buy something memorable from this trip. And well, yeah, and he got additional hours to pick up his wife and his daughter, to grab a taxi and to go to the airport. The flight was delayed, so he spent this time really nervous, and he understood that his colleagues that they were starting to understand that something was going on, that he was trying to escape probably. So he switched off his phone, and 15 minutes after that, he boarded the plane, and well, here we are now discussing his interview. He is perfectly safe and sound.
Yes, although incredible, I know he was aware that had they realized what he was doing, they could have turned that plane back. This could have ended very differently. And the officer told you, I know, Ilya, that he believes that Putin is paranoid. And the quote that he shared with you was pathologically afraid for his life. And I wanted to share with our viewers some of what he told you about that.
Президент оторван от мира.
He has been living in an information cocoon for the past couple of years, spending most of his time in his residences, which the media very fittingly call bunkers. We have to observe a strict quarantine for 2 weeks before any event, even those lasting 15 to 20 minutes. He doesn't use the internet or a mobile phone. He only receives information from his closest circle.
Ilya, these are incredible insights, that he doesn't use the internet or a mobile phone, and that, you know, if you're a guard on duty with him, you have to spend 2 weeks prior, before any event, even if you're only going to be with him for 15 to 20 minutes. What more did he tell you about Putin's state of mind?
Well, that Vladimir Putin relies on some special reports from his secret services, and he also really loves watching Russian propaganda, and that's all. That's all his sources of information. He also told us about that Putin is really paranoid, so he arranges some cover-up operations. He makes everything look like that he's flying from one city to another. His plane is departing, and everything is going like he really departs from one city to another. But in fact, he stays at the place and he just enjoys his time. So he just arranges these operations to make everybody think that he just left. So probably one of the most important things that he told us is that Putin is in a great shape. Well, Gleb Karakolov served for 13 years with Federal Guard service, and for 13 years he's been in more than 180 business trips, mostly with Vladimir Putin. And because of his illness, because of illness of Vladimir Putin, only one or two of these business trips were cancelled. So we can probably assume that within 13 years, he felt sick like once or twice. That's really incredible. So Vladimir Putin probably is not going to die anytime soon.
Now, I know that you, which isn't, I mean, as you say, 2 times in 180 trips to be sick, it is something. You were on this show a couple months ago, and you and I were talking, Ilya, about your reporting on the armored train that Putin's been using, according to your reporting, to travel, right, basically between his Dhaka, his weekend home, and Moscow. You said it had a special communication system, sort of made to look like a Russian train, but there were ways that you could tell that this was his special train. We now know that this officer that you're talking about was the source who told you all the details about this train. Why does he want to speak out now and share this information with you, Ilya?
Well, he wanted to speak out and to tell everybody that he's against this war. He wanted to address to his colleagues from Federal Guard Service and to let them know that probably they should do something. They should try to stop this war. He wanted to address to Russian citizens and to tell them that they should oppose this war, that he cannot believe that they support this aggression against Ukraine.
All right, Ilya, thank you so much. As always, I really appreciate your sharing all of your incredible reporting with us. Thanks.
Thank you.